So we're back out here with the HUXWRX Flow 556K. We did a video on this a couple weeks ago. This suppressor is awesome for 556. The reduced back pressure is so nice to not have that extra gas back in your face. But sometimes it takes a long time to get a suppressor. And in the meantime, you can get one of these. This is the HUXWRX Blastphemy, and it works on the exact same QD mounting system. Reverse threads, of course. So we're going to test this for a few rounds, and then we're going to go to the suppressor and see what kind of a difference we get. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. More suppressor content. Like I said in the last video on Tuesday, I'm getting spoiled these days. Shooting suppressed is like that. It is awesome. A couple weeks ago, I did a video on this. This is the HUXWRX Flow 556K suppressor, and I was very impressed. For suppressing 556, which is a supersonic round pretty much no matter what, this thing does a great job, and it's very low back pressure. You don't get gassed out. It's awesome. But today I want to focus on a couple of other things, because one thing that HUXWRX also makes is this. This is called the Blastphemy blast forwarding device. And it works on the same QD system. And I do think that this is a useful tool. The main reason being because of the law. Suppressors take so long to get approved that sometimes it's nice to have something on there just to be nice to the other people that you're shooting with. So make sure you're subscribed. And we're going to talk about shooting with just the muzzle device, with the Blastphemy, and then of course with the suppressor, and see which one we like the best. So we'll see how much of a difference you can tell from the camera, because I have it very close to the gun. We just put some rounds downrange with the Blastphemy blast can on. Now we're going to do a couple with just bare muzzle device, and then we're going to go to the Flow 556K. See if you guys can tell a difference. I'll tell you if I can tell a difference. Oh yeah. I want to take a quick minute to talk about this video's sponsor, which is Aura. And the reason why is because it's a product that I actually do believe in. Now that I've been using it for a little while, it's actually improved my life. I get a lot less spam calls than I used to get, which is kind of huge. I use my phone for work, and so I have to answer numbers that I don't recognize, and it's nice to not be getting those spam calls all the time anymore. The other thing is I had my bank account hacked 3 times last year, and I had to get new debit cards at least twice. And then I had to, get all of my bills that were automatically paid fixed and switched over to the new cards. Huge hassle. And Aura takes care of all that stuff so that you don't end up having to deal with those kinds of problems anymore. They scour the internet, and they find wherever your information is being sold to scammers and spammers and anybody else that wants to use your information to sell your information, and they submit opt-out requests on your behalf, which helps get rid of all that stuff so you don't have to deal with that anymore. And ever since I've been using it, I actually have noticed a big difference. And in fact, I get alerts from Aura when they find where my information has been leaked, and then they fix that for me, and that's been huge. And they do a lot of other things too. They have VPN, password management, parental controls, all kinds of stuff, and you get it at a very low price, a lot less than you would pay if you bought all of those things individually, and it helps the channel. With YouTube demonetizing pretty much all of my videos now, if you sign up for Aura, it helps me grow the channel, and that is greatly appreciated. So please check out Aura. Get 2 weeks for free if you use my link, aura.com/sawtoothtactical. I'd really appreciate it. I respect my privacy and I respect yours. As I did a couple weeks ago when I first tested this can, I am using it on my 11.5-inch 556 AR. This is an SBR. And the ironic thing, I don't know, not ironic, but whatever. This gun, when I originally put it together a few years ago, before I really even knew a whole lot about guns, I used this. This is the Strike Industries King Comp, and it's a big 2-chamber muzzle brake, and it greatly reduced the recoil, but the side blast from this thing out of a short-barreled 5.56, it was not very nice to the people that might be around you when you're out shooting. And so I got this. This is the Strike Industries Suppressor, and it literally locks onto their muzzle devices. I'm not going to do it with it not on the gun because I'll probably never get it off again. In fact, I might not even now. But this locks down. It's got a locking collar, kind of like a suppressor, and it's a blast shield. And so it takes all of that concussion and noise and focuses it downrange instead of off to the sides, making it a much more pleasant experience for those that are around you. And it really is very effective. So this thing right here, the HUXWRX Blastphemy, is the same idea. And the same idea being because their muzzle device here, while it looks like it's just a flash hider, and it is mainly a flash hider, it's actually a very effective flash hider and a really cool muzzle device. They really put a lot of time and thought into this muzzle device, which is pretty sweet. But as you can see, the hole in the end of the muzzle device is very small. And generally, if you look at like an A2 birdcage flash hider, or just most flash hiders in general, they usually have a wide hole at the very end of it. And when you have a smaller hole like that, that's basically so that you get braking action, compensating, so that you get blast coming out of here. Your gas is coming out the sides instead of out the front, which helps to control recoil. And it does. This muzzle device is very effective by itself, which is cool. Now, this at the same time that I was shooting this video, I was shooting the filming footage for this big 30 cal suppressor, and I was shooting 300 blackout subs right before I shot this bare muzzle device. And so I went from something very quiet to something very loud, and it was extremely loud, short-barreled 5.56 unsuppressed right after shooting this suppressed subsonic 300 blackout. That really gives you a good idea of how effective this suppressor is. It really makes the shooting experience much more enjoyable. After going from, like I said, 300 blackout subsonic with a huge suppressor on it, no ear pro, to this, it was quite a sensory overload, if you know what I mean. Being behind a short barrel 5.56, I mean, it's just very loud and concussive. And so my whole point in this video is I wanted to kind of try the progression from bare muzzle device to their blast can to the suppressor and see what kind of a difference there was between the three. And so the next thing I did is I put this on. And I always forget that it's reverse thread, but it is. So it uses the exact same mounting system as their suppressor does, which is very nice. And the reason why I think that this is a useful tool and something that might be worth buying is if you are getting a HUXWRX suppressor, well, you know the way that the NFA process works. And while we are seeing a lot of very quick approval times lately, that is the exception, not the rule generally. Usually you have to wait a long time to get a suppressor, and that kind of sucks. But you kind of want to get your rifle set up for that suppressor in the meantime. And so, especially say you have something like a 14.5 inch, then you're going to maybe pin and weld your, muzzle device on here. And in fact, this muzzle device is set up for that already. You don't even have to drill a hole. It's already ready for you. So then you pin and weld this muzzle device. Well, then you go start shooting and your friends all hate you because it's extremely loud and concussive. Well, this is to make your friends happy. Now, I'm not sure how well it comes across on video, but I did try to shoot it relatively close to the camera. But once you put this on there, it does make a significant difference. Even behind the gun, I could tell that there was less noise, less concussion. Now, when I say less noise, there isn't less noise overall. This is not a suppressor. There are no baffles inside it. If you look at this, it is literally just a hollow blast can. But what it does is it redirects that blast. It redirects it forward and away from you instead of off to the sides or back at you. And so that actually makes the shooting experience more pleasurable for you, but also much more pleasurable for those that are around you. I gotta say, I really love this HUXWRX suppressor. Well, after shooting with the bare muzzle device again, then with the Blastphemy blast can, after shooting 300 Blackout suppressed just literally minutes before, I was itching to get this suppressor back on there because I wanted to see how I felt about it after shooting a big, 30 cal can with subsonic 300 Blackout. Was I still going to be impressed with the performance of the HUXWRX Flow 556K? Because as you probably already know, suppressing 556 is very different than suppressing something like subsonic 300 Blackout. You can only get 556 to be so quiet because it is a supersonic round. So I was really interested in trying this suppressor out again. And I want to thank my friend Nick for loaning it to me again. Thank you, Nick, for this video. He's been helping me out a lot with these suppressor videos lately, which is really appreciated because while I do have some in ATF jail right now, it takes so long to get suppressors. And I know that you guys enjoy the suppressor content. So thank you, Nick. But getting back to it, I put this suppressor on kind of wondering if I was still going to be super impressed with it. And I was. This suppressor is awesome. And I highly recommend it to anybody that wants to have a relatively short 556 suppressor and doesn't want to get gassed out by all the added back pressure that you get from a traditional baffle stack suppressor. This thing is sweet. And while this Blastphemy blast can did make a bit of a difference as far as making it a little bit more enjoyable to shoot than with just the muzzle device itself, the real difference came when I put the suppressor back on it. God, it just made the gun a joy to shoot. And as much as I appreciate you loaning me this, Nick, now I'm going to have to get one, I think. And so you just cost me like $1,200. I kind of really love this HUXWRX Flow 556K on this gun specifically. It's about the perfect suppressor for an 11.5 inch 556, a gun with a carbine length gas system that probably would be really gassy with a normal suppressor on it. This thing is so nice to shoot. And man, with the flat dark earth, it kind of matches the aesthetic of this gun really, really well. I'm starting to feel like this gun isn't complete without this suppressor on it. And so I'm a little bit bummed that I have to give it back again. But I can't wait for Nick to get, just to get it, shoot it more himself, because I know he's going to love this suppressor as much as I do. This makes a big difference. It's a little bit amazing to me how much of a difference a muzzle device can make on your shooting experience. And it really does make a huge difference, especially when it comes to rifles, it seems like, but pistols as well. You know, I've tried a lot of different muzzle devices over the years. I've tried these Strike Industries ones, you know, 3-prong flash hiders, big, you know, 2-3-port muzzle brakes, blast forwarding devices, and of course now suppressors. And suppressors are better than everything else by a long shot. There's a reason they cost a lot more, and it kind of sucks that we have to wait for them, but I kind of feel like every gun, every rifle at least, should be suppressed at this point. But I do think that there is a time and a place for other muzzle devices. And I think that if you are getting a HUXWRX suppressor, getting something like this in the meantime is not going to be the same as shooting it suppressed with your, you know, Flow 556K or whatever can that you are getting. But it'll scratch that itch a little bit. At least you get to, you know, tighten something onto the end of your gun. Kind of looks the same. Some people might think you're got a suppressor on your gun because it does look very similar. It's just got a much bigger bore on it. But also, it does reduce some of that blast, which is nice for you, and it's nice for those around you. I don't know how much you'd actually use it once you get the suppressor, because shooting it with this is way different than shooting it with this. Like, the suppressor is the way to go. But anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've really been enjoying doing suppressor content lately, and I really hope that some of these suppressors that I'm waiting on approvals for come through soon, because I've got a lot more suppressor content in the works. Whip Machine and Tool is sending me their Mod 1 Naughty 9 suppressor for my PCC here. FN America is sending me a couple suppressors. I've got a OCL Polonium K that I've been waiting a couple months already. And I've got more that I'm thinking about getting, but I only have so much money. Suppressors are expensive, and the weight is the part that really sucks. But I want to bring you guys more suppressor content because I want to shoot suppressed more. I absolutely love it. It really does make shooting just more pleasurable. And so I recommend it to anybody. I know a lot of people think that, you know, I don't want to give the ATF, the government, my information. I don't want to pay the $200 extortion fee. I don't want to have to wait for something I've already paid for. And I totally understand that. But understand this, it is kind of worth all those things. It really is. If you shoot regularly, you're going to really enjoy shooting suppressed a lot more. So if you do want to support the channel, check out the links down below. I'll have a couple. They are affiliate links for some of the things that I run on this rifle here. And that helps the channel. It also really helps the channel if you join Aura. You get 2 weeks for free if you use my link in the description. It's only $12 a month after that, and it's a great service. Otherwise, make sure to give me a like. Make sure to share this video. Leave comments. Let me know if you've used the Blastphemy blast can while waiting for your HUXWRX suppressor and what you think of it. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.